Good morning, good morning. This is Spirit Journey, and I just came out the shower. It is now Friday, January 10, 2020, and the time is 8:50 a.m. I was listening as I was showering. This YouTuber, I'm new to her channel, and she's into spirituality stuff. And she started it in one of the videos. She was talking about like the 101 about chakras. What are the chakras? And she was listing from top to bottom about the chakras. And when she got to discuss the throat chakra, it opened up an awareness in me. She had said that the throat chakra is about communication, and sometimes it could be overreactive, and some of the symptoms of it being overreactive is cursing, being a loudmouth, bossy, that type of spirit. And I thought about that. And the reason why I thought about that is because I would say the past few months that I'm tapping, I was never someone who was into cursing. But on occasion, I have used some language, and I had used the S word, S as in Sam, the four-letter word, and more as an exclamation, like when I saw something that was really unusual, something theatrical, and I would say, oh, that letter, that letter word. And but it's not the usual. I mean, it's something I don't do often, but that's when I seem to use that word. But now, past few months, I've been using the F word, the F as in Frank. And I see that I use it when I'm getting in touch with my feelings of anger, and it's usually directed to things that are unfair. When I see certain injustices, or maybe feeling of being violated, or my space violated, and I'm expressing myself, and I have to admit, when I use that F word, F as in Frank, there is a feeling of empowerment. But abusing certain languages is an abuse. And so I want to be more careful about that. And I'm sharing this because I want to be honest. This is my spiritual journey. And in the process, it's like you're building a property, a home, and initially you have to use that tool to break the hard rocks below, and then you have to use another tool to smooth it out. So there's going to be some building up and breaking down, and eventually you get to that equilibrium state where everything is in harmony. And so I'm at that state of coming into harmony, coming into awareness about my life and reality. See, it's the opening up of reality, of falsehoods that you once believed in. A programmed mind, like my mind was. I was deeply programmed, and I was programmed in a way that was not beneficial to me. And that's what I'm aware of now. And as that awareness starts to increase of the falsehoods and the programming, it is also my intention to break those strongholds that kept me in bondage. And so I see that at times when this is happening, my language or my choice of words at time, it's really about counteracting that programming. And I think it's also expressed in other ways, like when I got my nose piercing about 4 years ago. That was a major one. My, let's see, my tattoo that I got, and also a legal name change. See, those are, actually the legal name change was the first protocol that I did to break my program. And I would say the second one is the nose piercing, and then the latest was the tattoo that I got. It's all about claiming myself. But what is this audio about? Well, I was mentioning earlier about the YouTuber who's into spirituality and health, and her discussing about the chakras, and when she was mentioning about the throat chakra and what symptoms that one could get when it gets out of balance, and about language. And then somehow something clicked in me, an awareness, and that's what I really want to share in this. This is the crux of this audio that I'm doing. I'm thinking about, I had a picture in my mind about the so-called witch, the witch, that the little old lady, or that lady who lives by herself in her cottage, and she goes out and she doesn't really have friends, but she's engaging with nature. She plants herb gardens. She talks to animals. I wish I could remember exactly why that image came to my mind, but either way, that image came to my mind about the throat chakra, and that how people could misunderstand that witch. Now, I'm not talking about a witch or what they call black magic. And again, there's, like some people say, there's no such thing as good or bad witchcraft, or they call dark and light. It's all energy. And in that standpoint, of that the craft is about shifting energies. So in that case, it is neutral. And it in itself, of a woman talking to nature, having an herb garden, and if she's doing a practice for her edification, for her upliftment, and her being a good person, good to herself, good to the environment, there shouldn't be any problem with that. But the word witch has a very, very negative connotation. But when I use the term witch in this context that I'm discussing about that woman who's misunderstood and is interested in just being at oneness with the environment. And that's where I am at this point. I want to connect to nature, to the benevolent one, to my higher self. And then what switched in me is that so-called practitioner of the herb, because witchery is about pharmacology, about the study and the use of herbs, actually, the word witch. So this person, this witch, is someone who wants to use nature and get connected in order to uplift her environment. And then I said, she is needed in the White House. You notice how people in high places, the current system that's happening in our country, it's in chaos right now. Completely chaotic. People are just killing each other, bombing each other's countries, and it has to stop. What this country is lacking is that which, that real, the spirituality. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use the term witch, but the governings, like I started thinking about the Bible, yes, okay. Now, I'm not a practitioner of the Bible. I am no longer a Christian. But there are things in the Bible that is very valuable. It can teach important messages or principles, and that I hold on to. But religion, I do not follow Christianity. But I remembered in my readings of the Bible that you notice there is in the ancient Hebrews that you had the governing body along with the spiritual body, the priests. And actually, it was the priest that anointed the governing body, right? That's the essence of what this conversation is about. That there's an imbalance and that there is a failure of uniting the spiritual with the governing body. That's what has to be done today. I think in any governing body, this has to be done for our safety and balance. And it's a duality. See, none of them, the spiritual half of the ancient Hebrews of the Bible and the governing body, like the kingship, they both are important. And right now there's an imbalance between the two. So, for us to get anywhere in life, you have to combine both the spirituality and the kingship, or if it's a presidency or prime minister, those two have to come in balance. We have to respect both halves. And I see that in many circles, the spirituality is poo-pooed on and name calling, like calling that person a witch in the negative sense of the word. See, they don't respect life. You have to respect life. You want a presidency or you want a kingship, well, you better respect life and all life. Because if you don't respect it, it's not going to respect you. And as you see in life, there's tons of these disasters that are happening. There was several earthquakes in Puerto Rico. There's fires that was happening in the west coast of the United States of America. Right? All these things happening. These are growing pains. And I feel like I'm having a growing pain within my own body. My body, my joints, my muscles are so stiff. And I'm a very active person. I walk around a lot, but it just seems like more physical activity is not making me feel stronger. I feel like I'm being zapped. And just the other day, I was walking, and I was feeling fine before I went out, and then I started feeling dizzy. So I believe these are possibly energies that there's maybe I'm getting overloaded with some energies. I become more sensitive to certain energies. I'm a healthy person, and I've recently gone to the doctors and excellent blood pressure. I eat right, and I was hydrated when I left my dwelling to just go on a little journey. But I think these are signs of the time. And that those people who may be becoming more sensitive to these certain energies that are out there may make some of you feel kind of wobbly in the head. But as always seek medical advice. Just make sure everything's is going okay, nothing hidden. And if everything seems okay, then maybe you too are becoming sensitive to certain frequencies that are out there. And when these things happen to you, stay calm. Try to stay calm, because getting excited is just going to make it worse. If you need to sit down, sit down. Okay, and maybe, hey, carry some glycerin. What do you call, not glycerin? Glucose tablets, just in case you're having a sugar low. Your low blood sugar. To be prepared with things like that. But outside of all that, I just want to share this with you, all these things, because it is part of my spirit journey. And those of you who want to walk a spiritual life, spirituality is more than just what you call yourself. Spirituality, in my opinion, is the walk that you live. We all have a walk. Let what your walk in life be what you are. None of us are perfect, but be the perfect you, to yourself. Be your personal best on your personal journey. I thank you all for listening. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.